Are you ready to jump on the Airbnb trend? Are you thinking you would love a second home close to a beach and it would just be perfect to find something that you can use a few months of the year, then lease out short term when not in town? Many people reach out to myself and my team every day with questions regarding Airbnb or VRBOs and think this is the direction they want to go. But before you find your perfect dream home for the vacation or a perfect second home that you think you can rent, there are a few things that we need to know. And today we are going to discuss Airbnbs in Sarasota and the surrounding areas, including all of Florida. We are going to discuss some neighborhoods here in Sarasota that are perfect for short-term rentals and make great Airbnb locations. And also we are going to talk about whether or not you should buy a condo or a single family if you're looking for an Airbnb. So we have a lot to cover today. But before we start, don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the bell button to be notified of new content. And also, I'm Lisa McBride with Sarasota Neighborhood Experts, and my team and I love helping so many of you buy, sell, and invest in real estate here locally. So just give us a call, shoot me a message, let us know how we can help. Airbnbs or vacation rentals have always been a great investment in real estate, but it does not always come easily or just finding that perfect home, because there are many rules that go into this, and there are many local laws and regulations that govern short-term rentals in this area. Understanding both Airbnb laws in Sarasota and Florida is really important. To start with, Sarasota, like most cities, have very specific zoning regulations that do govern short-term rentals. Zoning codes always define which neighborhoods or areas are designated for residential use, commercial use, or mixed use. And they often restrict short-term rentals in a lot of these residential zones. One of Florida's statewide mandates for short-term rentals is that if you rent a property more than 3 times a year or for less than 30 days at a time, or if you're even publicly advertising your property for rent in this capacity, you must acquire a vacation rental business license from the state. For more information of how to get that, we'll put a link in the description below. There's a lot of information online. Now, the city of Sarasota does allow for short-term vacation rentals within residential zone districts. There is a minimum stay though, and the minimum stay within the city limits says 7 days and 7 nights. Now, I know you're gonna see MLS listings that say no minimum, or you can lease it for 1 to 7 days. I'm here to tell you the city's guidelines and codes say 7 days. I'm not gonna tell you you can't rent for less than 7 days. I'm sure there's some properties that are leasing out for less than that, but keep in mind your neighbors may find fault with you if you're constantly having different people come and go. So what exactly is this certificate of registration? Well, the certificate of registration is a document that is issued by the city, and it does indicate that your property is registered with the city. And the purpose of this is to ensure that the residents and the tenants all can have a very peaceful enjoyment in their homes, whether you're here for 6 or 7 nights or 6 or 7 months or year round. And so it's very important to know. And also they want to be sure that your home is safe, that the welfare of your occupants are taken care of, that your home falls under certain guidelines for safety protocol. So of course we want everyone to be safe, and if you're going to own a property, that's something to know about. Sarasota County rules actually maintain that it actually prohibits leases for less than 30 days. This does apply for single family and multifamily properties in unincorporated portions of the county, with that exception of multiple family properties on the barrier islands, which does include Siesta Key, Casey Key, Minnesota Key, and our keys. This means that an owner cannot legally operate a short-term vacation rental in the county except for in those zoned multifamily areas of the barrier islands. So if you're starting an Airbnb business, you will need a license, and you can go again through the city. There's a lot of resources online to apply for the license for your Airbnb. Now, there is taxes that you pay on your Airbnb. The tourist development tax, also referred to as a bed tax or a resort tax, is 6% on the revenue from the rental of 6 months or less. This tax, in addition to the state sales tax of 7% here in Sarasota County. So you can see there's definitely taxed a lot. And the state sales tax is then sent to the Florida Department of Revenue, and the local tourist development tax is sent to Sarasota County tax collector. The tourist tax is paid on the rent and also any fees. So any damage deposits, any cleaning fees, any pet fees that you charge, the tax is part of that as well. In Sarasota County, tourist tax revenues are used for promotions, for beach maintenance, for the arts, for sports stadiums, and so much more. So you can see how that tax really impacts our city. So before offering a unit for rent for 6 months or less, we also always need to check that zoning and compliance. If you currently own a property and you're thinking about renting out a room, or you have an auxiliary dwelling on the property, keep in mind that if you're currently homesteaded and are receiving homestead exemptions, that if you start renting out a property, you can lose that homestead. So this is really important to know, because I know a lot of people have a room above a garage or just want to rent out a room, but don't do it if you're worried about losing your homestead. Keep in mind, if you rent that property for less than 1 month, the Sarasota County business tax is required. There are safety standards as a host to an Airbnb. Property owners must adhere to certain safety standards to protect their guests. Now, this may include that you have to have working smoke detectors, fire extinguishers. You have to ensure the property meets all building codes and safety codes, and you want to ensure that it's very safe for your tenants. Home buyers should ensure that potential Airbnb property is up to code for everyone. And to ensure that your home will be rented as often as possible, keeping it furnished very nicely, making it feel inviting, cozy, comfortable, and room for everyone is ideal. Now, this does not mean you have to go spend a fortune decorating, but anyone looking to lease a home, whether that's 7 days or 7 months, they're always looking for a clean, modern, cute property. So the cuter it looks, the more likely you're going to keep that home rented. Now, we need to talk about homeowners associations. As we know, many properties in Sarasota are governed by homeowners association, and they can set their own rules regarding short-term rentals, and they can supersede what the city and county regulations may put in place. For instance, a condo building may say you can only lease out twice a year. A neighborhood may say that you cannot lease your property until you've owned the property for 2 years. It's going to restrict how many times you can rent it per year, how often, how many days. So every single time you look at a property, you need to see what the bylaws, the HOA restrictions are. And also, it's a really good idea to get a copy of the recent board minutes, because if they're talking about changing the rules or regulations in this neighborhood, it is good to know before going into a neighborhood and thinking it's going to be a really good short-term rental. Unfortunately, there is not one blanket statement that is going to cover every single neighborhood here in Sarasota or every single condo building. So it's always good, we have to do our due diligence and really look into what is currently happening in neighborhoods. And we sometimes see where people will, in the same neighborhood, I'll see where it's 7 days, 30 days, or 2 times a year. I mean, it's crazy what we see. Okay, now we have all the details and the scary truths about short-term rentals. Now let's talk about some of the best neighborhoods that you should look at for purchasing here in Sarasota. Let's start with one of my favorite neighborhoods, and we talk about this a lot, and this is the neighborhood of Arlington Park. Arlington Park is very nicely located. It's about a 5-minute drive to downtown Sarasota. It's 10-12-minute drive to Siesta Key or Lido Key. It's close to Southside Village, it's close to the hospital, and in Arlington Park, you will see a mix of homes. We have a lot of different sizes and styles of single-family homes, which makes this an ideal location for Airbnbs. Arlington Park is in the city limits, so this is why the 7-night rule will apply in this area, making it so good for Airbnbs. Another terrific and desired neighborhood includes Sapphire Shore Indian Beach area. Now, this is located just north of downtown Sarasota, and it's really highly desired for those just spending a day or two or a week or a month. This area is 5 minutes to downtown. It's really close to the beaches, but also it's very short drive to the airport. It's walking distance to Ringling Museum or the Jungle Gardens, and there's so much to see in this area. It's very, very convenient. That is another area to keep in mind when looking for Airbnbs. Let's move on to the next one. One of the most popular areas for Airbnbs in our area is Siesta Key. Now, Siesta Key Beach is always ranked in the top 10 beaches throughout the US, and for good reason. With soft, powdery sand, this welcoming Siesta Key village, it's easy to get around, you have beautiful sunsets. All of this brings thousands and thousands of visitors every year to Siesta Key. And on Siesta Key, there are neighborhoods that do fall inside the city limits, so you have those 7-day or 7-night rental options. But also there's many condo buildings that also have short-term rentals on Siesta. So this is an ideal area to invest in real estate. But like all things with real estate, with great location does come a higher price. But you're also able to charge a little higher price per evening or per night that you rent it out. So there's a win-win in these situations. Also, in any neighborhood in our area that does not have deed restrictions and is located inside the city limits, short-term rentals are very popular, such as Ringling Park and Gillespie Park, so just a few of those. All right, now, should you decide on a condo or single-family home? Is one better than the other? Well, in short, one is not better than the other, and it really depends on your long-term goals. Keep in mind with condos, you'll be paying a much larger HOA fee. However, you will also have a turnkey property and you don't have to worry about finding someone to maintain the yard or the pool or the exterior of your home. Also, it's really nice to be able to just kind of let people come and go. They know that they're surrounded by others. They know what the building or the neighborhood is going to be like if you're in a condo. But also you need to have a great management company kind of run a cost analysis, because between management fees, cleaning fees, taxes, you want to be sure that everything is, the cash flow is right for this property. I also encourage people to ask yourself a few questions, such as who is your ideal tenant? How often do you want it to be rented? How often do you want to use it? How much maintenance do you want to do on the home annually? I think if you answer these questions, specifically if you're going to use it, where do you think you'd like to be, then this is a good way to determine whether a condo or a single family home is best for you. So are you ready to take some of your home's equity and invest in Florida real estate? Well, keep in mind in real estate, investing in properties that will appreciate over time, hold its value, whether it's a good market or a bad market. This is the way to invest and really gain a lot of equity in properties. And obviously in a coastal community, we always have people that are looking to move to this area, the warm weather, the sunshine, the beaches. And so it's almost always a good investment. Now, we don't know what's going to happen in the future, but I do know that our property values are much higher than they were 20 years ago. So keep that in mind. If you'd like more information about Sarasota's Airbnbs, give me a call today. And for a list of condo buildings and neighborhoods that are great for short-term rentals, leave a comment below and we will send you a list of properties, or there's a link in the description box as well. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, take care.